Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. WrestleMania 37, night one is in the books. We had a blast watching it with all the friendos, with the Enforcer over at our YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody for stopping by, for the super chats, for the power chats, for the subs, for all the stuff. So much appreciated from us. Sometimes WrestleMania will feel like the end of a particular season and the beginning of a new one. Even with us, it's kind of how we perceive things. This is our biggest weekend of the year. It's been a really bizarre year from the last time we sat down and watched a WrestleMania. And this one, I thought, delivered in so many respects. There's still obviously a night two, but man, night one, they just absolutely killed it, man.
Yeah, top to bottom. Absolutely. You know, the I mentioned this on the show before we got rolling. This Mania, at least night one, seemed about giving people Mania moments who hadn't had them before.
Yeah.
Let's just go down the line. Lashley versus McIntyre. We thought Drew was a shoo-in to win. Lashley picked up the win.
Yeah.
Got his huge Mania moment. Tamina got a Mania moment when her and Natalya won the Tag Team Turmoil match. Cesaro picked up his first huge Mania moment as a singles wrestler, beating Seth Rollins. Omos, in his first Mania, destroyed the New Day Mania moment.
Yeah.
Braun's probably had a Mania. Well, he beat Goldberg last year. I guess that's kind of
he had a kid for a tag team champ.
That's true. He's had Mania moments.
That was a fun match, though. The Braun Shane match was a fun match.
It was fun, yeah. Of course, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, their first Mania. Bad Bunny absolutely killed it.
Couldn't have asked for more. Could not have exceeded expectations.
He was great. And then, of course, the main event, emotional from the very beginning. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic to see Bianca Belair pick up the win, hold that title. I kind of wish that and maybe they did. I kind of ended my stream and closed my Peacock window before the show ended. I saw pictures of Montez in the ring celebrating with Bianca. That's so awesome.
That is awesome. Great. Yeah, man.
So like 6 out of 7 matches, wrestlers either finally getting Mania moments after years with the company, or wrestlers relatively new to the main roster getting Mania moments. And it's great. It's awesome to see. I love it.
Dude, for the fans that have stuck around through these really awkward no people shows, no fans in the seats, all those wrestlers that you just named, the guys like Cesaro, like Lashley, they really do hold a certain place, that goes beyond storyline. And it's like you need to see a guy like Cesaro. And to be honest with you, it's completely out of character for the WWE to do this kind of thing. It really is, because 9 times out of 10, they service guys like Seth Rollins, who is a consummate, like, big match guy who they can put in the main event scene if they need to at any time. Mm-hmm. And a guy like Cesaro has been in the company for God knows how long now. And his first real WrestleMania singles match, and they give him this win, and it's a really fun, these guys can put together a great match.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, this is a moment that we wanted for Cesaro forever, and it's never come. And so it was awesome to see that for him. Bob Lashley's been killing himself for 16 years or whatever it is. Yeah. And he got the title 2 months ago, something like that, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And here we are, and it's like, okay, well, a couple of weeks ago, they turned him sort of extra heel. And it's like, okay, well, we see where this is going. They're going to give Drew a fan moment at WrestleMania, and instead they went the other way, completely unexpected. I'm sure there are people out there who did expect this. That's fine. But to us, it was completely unexpected.
Yes.
And it's so rewarding as a fan of the product, as a fan of these performers, wherever they lay in the context of story and character, to see them get these moments. And it was awesome to see WWE reward these people with these big WrestleMania moments, which is the pinnacle. These are moments that these people will remember forever as their big moments in their careers, and it's awesome to get to see that play out.
Yep.
And then, of course,
people who especially people who've been around who haven't got to experience that before. It's great to see.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the main event.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
I mean, this has been much discussed, obviously, the relevance of this match. Two women of color in the main event of a WrestleMania. Bianca Belair, who has an amazing story. Sasha Banks, who is one of the best wrestlers, man or woman on the planet. You know, going out there just putting on match of the night. And that's what it was. It was match of the night. And obviously moment of WrestleMania. I'm really looking forward to night 2, but man, night 1 was killer. It really was.
It's going to be hard to top. It's going to be hard to top. It's going to be hard to top. Let's go ahead and dive in here. So we were all speculating about who was going to open the show. They held off on having any pre-show matches because they want the first person to step through that curtain to be a huge deal. We both thought it was Hogan. I was holding out hope it was going to be Drew because he said he wants to be the first person out in front of fans again. And maybe the weather had something to do with how maybe they adjusted the rundown of the show because of the weather, because it was Vince. Vince was the first one out.
Well, it was everybody.
It's Vince. Yeah, Vince. Yeah. And then the entire locker room was out there. And Vince, says, hey, WWE superstars have performed tirelessly over the last months and year, and putting on shows. But there was always something missing, the WWE universe. He says, as we emerge from this pandemic, on behalf of the WWE family, we welcome you all to WrestleMania. And we got America the Beautiful, and we got the opening video package. They're back in business. Sound like Matthew Berry from What We Do in the Shadows. Potentially that's who it was narrating.
Right.
Maybe it was better. It would have been better if it was Nandor, but hey, can't complain about Matthew Berry.
He's time for WrestleMania.
And then they go to commentary, and they're like, hey, we got bad weather. We're going to have to wait on actual matches. And so WWE killed time by having a bunch of backstage interviews, but you could tell these were off the cuff, not scripted. And I'll be honest with you, I vastly prefer it this way. I do too. I love this kind of stuff when it's obvious that they're out there doing it old school, having fun with it. One of the reasons why I want to go back and watch it again is to get the full effect of it because, we do chat quite a bit during these live streams. Seth especially looked like he was having fun. Kevin Owens looks like, anytime anybody's like, hey, anybody open mic, Kevin Owens will be the first one. Yes,
Seth Rollins
absolutely.
probably be fighting him for it. And so, yeah, I thought that was a really smart move instead of just doing like endless recaps or something. I thought that was a really smart move. It just seemed very celebratory. The entire thing seemed very celebratory.
Yes.
And that sort of added into it. It's like, hey, the show has to go on. We got to keep these cameras aren't going to stop rolling. Get them out there. So, you had things like you had Shane, an interview with him, I think started it off.
Yeah.
He talked about, him and Braun, obviously. MVP and Lashley, they were interrupted by Drew. So you had, Drew was saying, hey, let's throw down tonight. So these little mini stories that are playing out, he was doing the same thing on the Go Home Raw where he's like, challenging him. We had the New Day and Big E all together.
Reunion,
Kevin Owens, Bianca Belair, Seth. Braun, that's right, Braun. And
then Miz and Morrison,
And then Miz and
that was
Morrison.
the last one. And then they gave us about a 5-minute warning when the show was going to resume. Poor commentary. Had to stand seemingly for most of the early part of the show while it was raining, I guess because they didn't want them around all those electronics. Smart move. And then so the show kicks off. Titus, Hogan come out to hype the crowd, I guess, to introduce the show. Titus just, had welcome to Mania in my hometown of Tampa. Rain, sleet, or snow, it doesn't matter. WWE is going to give you what you wanted for a whole year. They're back in business. Hogan says some stuff. And then, Titus says, yeah, again, we're back in business. Hogan says we're going to make history this weekend. Time for the first match in front of the WWE Universe in a year. And then Titus says we're kicking things off with the title match, and that's what we got first. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley.
So before we dive into this, man, I want to give a quick shout out. Over the past couple of days, with all the WrestleMania content we've had, all the build, we've had some new patrons over at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. And one of the things there when you donate on the Patreon, you get a shout out here on the show. So I wanted to shout out Joe Dryland, Clayton, Robin Hood, Cam Scott, Michael Metzger, Doc Howard, and Nicholas Mosier. Thank you so much. If you kick in $5 on the Patreon, you get access to 3 bonus live streams every single week. We do a gaming thing on Friday. We do like an Ask Stephen Larson non-wrestling show on what is that, Wednesdays. And on Tuesdays we do Power Rank, which we talk about wrestling there. If you go up to the $20 on the Patreon, you get the Friendo Care Package. This is one of them that's going out very soon. It's a comic book. It's a Going In Raw comic book and a bunch of stickers in there. And you get an 8x10. I got to roll by your house and sign it. Maybe when I go pick up
autograph on things.
Maybe when I go pick up Big Red on Monday, I'll drop these off for you.
See if that happens.
Anyways, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. I thought this was an interesting feel-out match because we got to see what was going on with the water situation.
Yeah, it was pretty wet on the floor. By that I mean it was really damn wet. You could see little puddles of water on the mats outside. And anytime someone walked around anywhere outside of the ring, they got in the ring, there was just like wet footprints everywhere. It seemed to ease up as the show went on because I don't think it was really raining much more past, the initial rain delay, at least that I could tell.
Yeah,
they definitely did not, tell the crowd to go seek shelter in the concourse for fear of lightning storms.
So they had, of course, and they weren't performed as well as they have been in the past. It's the floating graphics. So Drew took a sword in the stone approach where you see like his sword in a giant floating stone, but then like a bunch of other stones floating around it.
It was like a meteor field.
Yeah, right. It was like from The Expanse or something, like a giant sword.
Threw you a softball there. Don't do it. Don't say belters. Don't say belters.
I'm done. I can't wait, dude. Hey, look, I'm going to give you this time off, but there's one more season. And when that season kicks in, play ball. Beltas. Anyways, season probably not going to happen for a while. Anyways,
probably not.
Bob Lashley, at first he came out, we were like, man, where's his pyro? Because he came out sort of stood for a second
on the stage. Yeah, no pyro.
And then he got up to the corner turnbuckle, did his thing, and then there was above Raymond James.
The entire rim of the stadium exploded in pyrotechnics.
Pyro. So yeah, this was again, one of these great physical matches between these two guys. I feel like it was because of the water situation. There were moments that we didn't get. Like, for example, at one point they go for a superplex, it looked like they were setting up for a superplex.
But that's a typical Drew spot that he does, where he does the crunch up and belly to belly.
Yeah, he did that too. I just don't know if that was an audible or not. Like,
I don't know.
There were moments throughout the show that because of the water situation, it just made everybody a little bit more, or made me a little bit more nervous.
Yeah.
And you never know if they're going, like at one point you see AJ during later on the tag match, AJ running around the ring and he's going half speed. It just makes you wonder if there were things that were changed because of it. You get these big dudes out there going as fast as they can go. If they slip, that's going to be a little bit worse for them than
you don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Dude.
Definitely.
But yeah, they do that trio thing with Drew, where he throws Bobby off him basically. Bobby chokeslam Drew. Drew kips up. They trade blows. A belly to belly from Drew. He hit a couple of those. He hits a future shock, a second, and a third, and all that just gets him a 2. Drew goes launching himself out of the ring onto Bobby after he's out. Lands pretty hard, goes up for the double axe handle, but Bobby catches him, hits him with a flatliner. Lashley gets the hurt lock on. Drew's able to get out of that, locks on a Kimura. Bobby's able to get to the ropes. This was great. The finish was Drew loads up a Claymore, and right when he does 3, 2, 1, MVP screams for Lashley, and that takes Drew's attention for a split second. He turns back, goes for it, misses. Bobby kills him with a forearm in the corner. He gets the hurt lock on, and Drew passes out.
Yeah, he gets it on, and Drew seems like he's about to power up, and then he tries to roll through using the second turnbuckle. Lashley rolls through with him, doesn't release it, and Drew just passes out.
I would to be a fly on the wall, because we've heard this about Drew McIntyre, and we speculated about the Ricochet match and what Andrade had said about him. I bet nobody's happier about this match than Drew McIntyre, and that's even including Bobby Lashley. Like Drew seems like the most selfless guy in the world, and say, "Hey, dude, let's go take you to the next level out there," and they could just battle and battle and battle over the next couple months.
Exactly. I mean, it's a money feud. if they do it right. It's a huge money feud if they do it right.
It makes, dude, it makes Monday's Raw much more interesting.
Yes.
With Bob Lashley coming back as champion than if it was the other way around.
Yep. After that, Titus and the NWO are backstage. Bayley barges in. She says she's the host of the biggest show. Ding dong. Hello. She offers Hogan and Titus some help. She's looking for a 2-sweet from the NWO. Kevin Nash kind of fakes it, does the Ric Flair hair thing. Offers one to Titus. He says he's hungry. He steps away. X-Pac says, I'm actually a pretty huge fan. Bang, 2-sweet for Bayley. Scott Hall gives her one, and Hogan walks off and says, I'm hungry like Titus is.
Would you give Bayley a 2-sweet if she asked for one?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
She'd
probably do the...
Yeah, she probably would.
I got you thing, because we're a couple of chumps, Larson. Up next.
You got that right.
Women's Tag Team Turmoil. Again, we saw some water come into play here. We had
poor Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose had a bit of a slip on the ramp. She got right back up, though. I know there's some memes on Twitter for that. These things happen. Wrestlers deal with it. Started off with Lana and Naomi versus Carmella and Billie Kay. Pretty quickly, Billie got the roll-up on Naomi with some help from Carmella.
She was holding on the bottom rope and then pushing her legs forward to give Billie Kay some extra leverage.
Some more leverage there.
Then next we get Carmella and Billie against Riot Squad. They try to do the same thing. Ref catches them though, and then shortly thereafter, Liv hits Billie, hits Code Breaker, and then Ruby follows with top rope senton to get the win. Mella and Billie are eliminated, but on her way out, Carmella hits Liv with a super kick. Next, Riot Squad versus poor Mandy Rose, slipping on the ramp, and Dana Brooke. This saw Mandy hit Liv with a superplex. Dana falls with a swanton. Liv then reverses the pinning combo into a roll-up of her own to get the win.
That brings out Tamina and Natalya. So somebody mentioned in the chat, so I thought for sure. So Natalya, I forget what the sequence was, but Natalya had Liv ready for a sharpshooter.
Yeah, so Natalya and Tamina hit a heart attack.
Yes.
And she's about to do the sharpshooter, and then she was like, no, tags in Tamina. She does the splash from the top to get the win. That's pretty cool.
I like this this is a great, this is a feud that if they... I wasn't 100% sold on Shayna and Nia Jax together. I thought it was going to be short-lived when it first started. They've made a heck of a duo, and I hope they continue. I hope that they don't break up when they lose the titles. I hope they continue. I hope they're a foundational piece of a really great-looking women's tag division.
Yeah.
And Tamina and Natalya are such a great matchup for them. It's a really smart move to have these two in there if you want a good match. Not saying that the Riot Squad couldn't, but the Riot Squad would just lose everything. But in terms of Natalya, knowing all the technical stuff, just being a terrific wrestler, and Shayna, and then of course the two powerhouses, I really like this for them.
Yeah, me too. Next, we got Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Cesaro comes out on fire, just uppercuts, looking for the swing. He'd look for the swing, Seth would fight him off. He'd look for the swing, Seth would fight it off. And then eventually Seth starts working over Cesaro's arm. After he drapes it over the top rope, taking out Cesaro's arm so he can't do the swing. So at one point, he does get the swing off. Can only do 8 or 9 rotations, has to let go because his arm gives out. Seth goes for a stomp. Cesaro evades that. Later, Cesaro reverses a ripcord knee from Seth into a neutralizer. Seth kicks out. He goes for another neutralizer. Seth reverses that into a pedigree, gets a 2. And then Seth has to go start talking trash. He says, I kicked out the neutralizer. You can't get the swing off. I am God.
Oh, bad idea.
And then he clobbers Cesaro on the back of the head with a forearm, goes for a stomp, misses, puts on the brakes, though, and hits like a back kick, goes for a stomp. Instead, Cesaro pops up, hits him with an uppercut, follows with an airplane spin. So he doesn't have to use his arms then. And then drops him, flings him off, hits the swing, follows that with a neutralizer to get the W.
19.
Yeah.
It was the first one was 7. Oh, okay, so wait.
They said this. The commentary said 23 for the second one, so they kayfabed that. Apparently,
I love that. I love that they would kayfabe the number of swings because they kayfabe the shit out of their attendance numbers. I love it. That's great. This was
phenomenal match.
Great match. Absolutely phenomenal. Really great stuff. Awesome for Cesaro. Seth Rollins continues to break out new stuff. That twisting frog splash,
oh my gosh,
was awesome. And then, like you said, when he missed the stomp, but he was able to follow up with something. Haven't seen that before, or at least I haven't. Thought it was great, man. Thought it was
Really
even
match.
as a bad guy doing stuff that's like creative, innovative, stuff we haven't seen before.
Tons of fun. After that, we had a quick Dolph Ziggler, Bob Roode interview. Just essentially, hey, we walked in. Now it finally feels like Mania. They're asked for their predictions in the Raw Tag Title match. Rude says you don't ever bet against AJ Styles. And that match was next.
Yeah, New Day versus Omos and AJ, of course. Big E introed his New Day stablemates.
Great.
Which was awesome. AJ, of course, starts out because they got to tease us. They got to wait for Omos to come in. Omos I wouldn't mind seeing Omos in maybe something a bit more wrestler-y. He had sort of like just regular pants on. And then
they kayfabed the compression shirt to make it look like a dress shirt with the sleeves cut off.
Like a sleeveless dress shirt, but it was a compression shirt. Yeah.
I liked it because it's different. It's still he keeps his look when he's AJ's muscle. All he has to do is take his jacket off. He's ready to wrestle.
Yeah. I like to see wrestling gear. Different isn't always good in my opinion, but
different isn't always good, but the situation here where it fits with what we've seen with them so far, and it fits the storyline that we push in advance. That New Day is like, hey, where's your matching gear? You're not a real team unless you have matching gear.
I like this, man. Jorge D says Omos needs to wear Zubaz. That'd be great. See, that's different and awesome. In any event, so yeah, AJ starts out. They isolate him for quite a bit.
He gets worked.
He gets worked over. So the great moment here is the tag into Omos because they play it perfectly. So AJ's getting worked. He sort of finds himself in a bit of folly here from the New Day because they eventually let him get to the center of the ring as Xavier Woods kind of takes his time to go up to the top. And then
AJ had sent Kofi out of the ring too at this point.
Right, yeah, Kofi's out.
Yeah.
And so there's this great moment in TV. People can complain about too many cuts during matches, and they're right. Yeah. But they have actually, and this match is a perfect example. TV catches some really great moments, and and the direction does amplify the drama at certain moments when it really needs to be amplified. And so AJ's in the middle of the ring. Xavier Woods is up at the top, and he notices that AJ's come to enough so that he could make it to Omos before Xavier hits his move. And Xavier looks at the situation. Everybody realizes what's happening. Omos sort of starts grinning, and Xavier just looks at AJ and says, no, don't do it.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. And of course, AJ does.
Smiles.
Yeah, he smiles. He tags Omos in. He comes in, and Omos, while smiling the whole time. So Xavier, they face off, and Xavier starts trying to chop it at Omos with his leg kicks. Just no sells. Omos no sells everything and just
bounces off a drop kick. Yeah, just
destroys the New Day.
Hits them both with backbreakers. He goes over towards the ropes, and AJ hits a phenomenal forearm off Omos's shoulders on Woods. Sends him out, and then Omos hits a huge pop-up choke slam on Kofi. And then AJ's like, no, cover him with 1 foot. So he does. Kofi doesn't kick out. AJ and Omos win. New tag champions. Really fun.
The bit where AJ, and it's funny because that's one thing that TV didn't catch all that great was AJ jumping onto Omos's shoulders and jumping off. And you see, and Omos, the look on his face, you called it right. Omos just looked like he was having fun, And I saw some people talking about this, but I kind of disagree with it. I thought that when you see him run into the corner to deliver those elbows, the back elbows, I thought he looked fine. I thought that, look, he's not going to be doing Ranas off the top or anything like that, and you shouldn't expect that. I think there is a balance between a guy like Khali, who looks like he could barely move, and like Braun shouldn't be really running around the ring anymore. I know they love that. They do the choo-choo thing, but it kind of looks like it hurts when he runs too. But if Omos can look like he's not struggling to walk, then shoot him to the moon. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you?
He doesn't have to put on 5-star matches as long as he and the producers he works with can come up with interesting, compelling stories to tell during his matches.
Yeah.
That's what you really need.
Absolutely, man.
That's what you really need.
I agree.
After that, Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman in a cage match. So Shane comes out first, gets in the ring, and as Braun's making his way towards the ring, he holds the door shut. so Braun can't open it. He's like pushing against the ropes. Elias and Riker appear. They attack Braun with chairs. Shane then pulls Braun to the ring, continues to beat down with the chair. And apart from that, Shane was really focusing on Braun's leg, trying to take his vertical base out. Apart from that, I guess that's not true. There was a couple things that Shane seemingly hid or put at the top of the cage to use for his benefit. At one point, he got what essentially looked like a cookie sheet. Later on, the toolbox. Shane did hit a coast-to-coast in this. That gets him a 2 count. At one point, Elias and Riker, they come out, start climbing up the side of the cage. They start to pull Shane over the top. Braun then basically shoulder tackles the cage, sends Elias and Riker flying to the floor. Shane tumbles to the mat. The finish saw Shane climb up to the top of the cage. Braun follows. Shane then gets the toolbox out of this bag that's up there, hits him with that. He starts to climb over the edge and climb down, and he has to do something stupid. He puts his hand through the cage to wave at Braun and talk trash. So Braun gets up, grabs his hand, and proceeds to rip the entire panel of the cage out to pull Shane back in. He hits some shots, and they put Shane up on the top of the cage. He goes up there too, and then tosses Shane off the top after yelling at him, "Who's stupid now?"
Yeah.
Braun climbs down, briefly sells knee, but then hits him with a power slam to get the win.
I thought this was fun. I thought that what cracked me up, what Shane, like an idiot, putting his hand through the cage, I thought was a great moment. What made me laugh is that when he was climbing out of there, you piped up and he said, "Oh my God, Shane's gonna win this thing." Because who thinks who's going to be so stupid as to put their arm through the cage?
I know. I've never seen that before.
Who would do that? And then, of course, you see his giant, hands come and get him. I thought, and then I did not expect, when I thought about this match in advance, you think, okay, Shane's going to do, and he did, obviously, he totally did, a crazy bump. But I did not see the wall of the cage being ripped off by Braun.
No,
that's the kind of stuff that we always used to love with Braun. That was Braun at his peak, man, when he was just sort of,
when he was just destroying everything.
Doesn't matter if he's smart or stupid; he would destroy stuff, and that was terrifying.
Exactly. So after that, we go to commentary. Bayley rolls up. She's giving Michael Cole some crap. And then ends up thrown into the Hall of Fame video package. We get to meet the Hall of Fame class of 2020 after that. And then it's Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. Booker T on commentary. That's great.
I love Booker T. I think he's the best thing ever.
He is.
One thing I forgot to mention also, and I got this from Twitter because I was looking it up. But when Omos and AJ came to the stage, AJ did his thing. And Omos threw up the X for DMX. Kind of cool. The tribute there. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Bad Bunny. So this was great. So Miz and Morrison came out to the worst entrance ever maybe. I don't know. We'd have to go back and see what worst entrance could top
I think
this
it was but at least this one I think was supposed to be purposely bad.
It was intentionally bad. It's one of those things where it's I don't want to see it though. It's I'm interested to see what Bad Bunny can do in the ring. And Miz and Morrison, if you're going to do this with anybody, it's Miz and Morrison because they're such pros at this kind of stuff. One of the bunnies, which I thought was actually really fitting, his ear fell off. One guy almost lost his mask. And then Priest comes out. He's wearing sort of, he's always wearing some sort of shout out to Shawn Michaels. He had the chain top and then
purple pants
really purple pants.
Yeah.
And then we saw Bad Bunny basically sort of paying homage to one of the greatest intros in the history of video games.
Yes.
And that was, of course, the intro to WCW NWO Revenge.
Yes, with the semi, all that. He's riding on the back of it. He's got kind of like a Matrix duster jacket on, either patent leather or something along those lines. A really good entrance. He's riding through Tampa. Shows up at Raymond James Stadium, and they bring the semi into the stadium. He makes his way to the ring, and man, he delivered. Head scissors, tornado DDTs, a Canadian destroyer, all from Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was in this match more than Damian Priest was.
He was, and it looked so crisp It was clean. There was no hesitation. That great moment. We're sitting there like, oh dear, what happens when they're going to go up to the top and jump? And it's like,
it splashed nothing.
Every single wrestler that went out there smartly, whenever they do something off the top, they'd make sure their footing was sound, and then they'd do it. This dude, when it came time for him to come off the top, he just went up there and in one fluid step, like RVD, just went right off.
Jumped.
Man, yeah, it was great. There was some stereo Falcon arrows that they did.
That one might have been the most impressive.
That was an awesome moment. And then the finish saw Miz go up to Priest's shoulders, or Priest put Miz on his shoulders. And Bunny went to the top, hit a Doomsday Fun Splash onto Miz for the 3 and the win. I thought this was one of the top celebrity matches I've ever seen, man. I thought Bad Bunny killed it. Yeah.
Easily. Agreed. Yeah, this was fantastic. It's amazing, between him, Pat McAfee, Shaq, just within the last year. Celebrities coming into the wrestling world and giving it their all. Investing, their time and energies into putting on good matches. Yeah. It's great to see. It's awesome to see.
It is.
Speaking of things awesome to see, main event. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, the Smackdown Women's title. They both made their way to the ring, bell rang, and both just getting emotional. The moment. It obviously meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
And it's great to see people, wrestlers, we're so used to seeing the performers out there in the ring. And when you see these moments where you're seeing the people behind the performers and seeing how the magnitude of the moment affects them too, it's fantastic. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
So early on, Bianca's on the verge of basically beating Sasha pretty much immediately. And Sasha's is barely escaping all of Bianca's power moves. There was a glam slam she escaped. A KOD she escaped. Eventually, though, Sasha drapes Bianca across the top rope, rams her to the top turnbuckle, goes for a suicide dive, hits it, but Bianca rolls through. This was impressive. All get out. So she rolls through, picks her up, press slams her, walks up the ring steps, throws her in the ring. Shortly after that, she gets her up for a suplex and then does the slingshot off one rope, walks to the other side off the other rope, does a couple squats, and then hits the suplex.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. She hits a standing shooting star press.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And then Sasha, she when she get her offense, it's like progressively as the match went on, would get more and more aggressive, and she'd use Bianca's braid as like a leverage point. She hit like a ripcord knee with it, and seemingly whenever she really needed to turn the table, she'd grab the hair and just use that to hit some offensive maneuvers. Towards the end, Sasha hits this great double tornado DDT. That was awesome. Bianca kicks out. Sasha hits a frog splash. Bianca kicks out again. Bianca rolls the apron. Sasha starts working her arm again, tosses Bianca to the ring steps. Back in the ring, Sasha uses Bianca's hair to kind of do like a Rings of Saturn type thing.
Yeah.
Transitions that to a bank statement as Bianca's trying to get to the bottom rope. We've seen Sasha do this several times, where she uses her foot to kick off to bring her opponent back to the middle of the ring and sink in the bank statement. This time, she does that, but it's almost like Bianca used her own momentum against her and then rolled back towards the rope to get back on the rope.
Right, yeah.
To break the hold. It was great.
I got to go back and watch this match again, because Sasha Banks, and you saw this with all of her tag matches with Bayley, and even with her matches with Bayley, of course, how she is such a master at putting together these sort of move, counter move matches
in really creative ways. Yeah,
in really creative ways that that reference previous matches, that reference story, and she is such a master at bringing it all together in something that made, in this case, Bianca look just absolutely killer, just so great.
So Bianca makes a comeback, but Sasha the top rope. Sasha fights her off. Bianca goes for a handspring heel kick. Sasha catches her feet, puts her in the trio woe. She goes for a double stomp. Bianca moves. She gets out of the trio woe. Sasha goes for double knees in the corner. Bianca evades that, goes up top, hits a 450. Sasha kicks out. Bianca thought that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Devastated. And commentary was doing such a good job here.
Yes. Yeah, Corey Graves and Michael Cole were doing a pretty good job telling the story of this match.
Corey Graves at this point was like, that's it. Like, this match is basically over. She gave her everything she has. Sasha is just better. Yeah.
And then so Bianca goes for a KOD. Sasha lands on her feet, grabs Bianca by the hair. Bianca pulls it back. Pow! Cracks.
And they had such a great reaction shot of Bianca, like, I am fucking done with you grabbing my hair all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, cracked her. And there's a great picture. It was on the broadcast, but it's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of like the giant
Sasha's
mark
yeah.
that it made. Yeah.
Yeah. And this finish was great. So Bianca, after that, goes for a KOD. Sasha escapes, goes behind, goes for a backstabber. Bianca escapes that, bang, KOD to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
New champ. Fantastic match of the night.
Absolutely fantastic.
It was great. The emotion was there. You felt the emotion.
Yeah.
So damn good.
Yeah.
So damn good.
Yeah, I'm going through all these all this stuff on Twitter, you know, like Bianca coming backstage and Montez there to pick her up off her feet, and and yeah, it's really great stuff, man. It's really great stuff.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
We have some time. Let's go ahead and answer some questions here on
Sure.
our Twitch chat. White Brownie 92 says, did Lashley's win prove going in Raw math wrong? Okay, one thing. Going in Raw math and stand tall math are completely different things. Going in Raw math is completely and totally
Tried and true.
Tried
Scientific.
and true. It's
basically
actually
science. It's basically science at this point. Go home math is a nebulous concept that is not 100% foolproof.
Correct. Yes.
Chill Gaming Inc. I hope they treat Bianca Belair like a real champion. I hope they give her some good and meaty feuds immediately.
That is always the concern. You know, it's when they drop the ball with Kofi. I thought that they started out really good with Kofi, but you know what they never did? They never let him beat Roman Reigns.
I know.
You know, and
or Brock Lesnar.
Or Brock Lesnar. Things are a little bit different. I mean, it'd be the kind of thing where, okay, the flip to that here would be, okay, well, would Bianca be at the same level as Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey or Charlotte? Charlotte's the big. If they move Charlotte over to SmackDown, because she's on Raw. Yeah, she's on Raw. That's a win. That's a feud and a win. I mean, Sasha's a big deal, but that's step one. You know, that's step one.
Goldchild TX with the sub. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's see here. Gaming with Cage says, what rope-like object is the star of WrestleMania week/weekend? The chain, I guess, from NXT TakeOver? Or Bianca's hair? Well, clearly it's Bianca's hair. The chain was falling all over the place.
Yeah, that chain was like barely utilized well.
That was a mess.
Ploopy, are you guys going to take Monday off since you've been working basically all week? You guys definitely deserve it. No, we do the same stuff as usual on Monday.
Yeah, we have Tuesday.
Tuesday's a light day.
Tuesday's a light day, so we'll be fine. We're just watching wrestling, having a good time. Zoe Conrana, what match on night 2 do you think can top the main event of night 1? Any match Daniel Bryan's in can be the match of the year. Any match.
That or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
That could be good, but I have a feeling Vince is going to give him like 12 minutes and be like, hey, you know, yeah, it's going to, yeah. I mean, it'll be a fun match. It'll be like one of the most fun matches of the card.
Man, if Sami Zayn hits Kevin Owens with the brain buster on the top turnbuckle.
Okay. That's the Braun. Okay.
I'll pop huge.
All right.
Pop huge.
I'm with you on that.
Jeremiah P, you think Vince learns a lesson with these off-the-cuff promos? I'd like to say yes, but I'm sure he won't.
No, it's not about, I don't think it's about learning a lesson. Look, the thing about promos is that 9 times out of 10, they are plot-based. It's like, hey, we need you to go out there and make these points because of the story. And
well, also, it's time. They have each segment timed out. It is time,
yeah. They have
and when you have it
timed out.
scripted, you know basically exactly how long it's going to go.
That's true, and you run the risk if you give them too much freedom. So they have their formula. But look, I'm sure that Vince understands. You know, hey, all these you know, men and women, they could go out there and give me 2 minutes if left to their own devices. But for the sake of the efficiency that is required to allow for Vince McMahon to come in on the day of the show and rewrite an entire script, we need to script these things. But in this case, he knows that he can, and he probably gets a kick out of, hey, let's see what these guys can do off the cuff.
Hey, guys, I need 3 minutes from you. Can you do that? Yeah, sure, no problem.
He probably loves that stuff because it's old school. And, you know, it's Vince. Vince, I think that Vince is a huge fan of pro wrestling. He just understands that sports entertainment has made him a billionaire.
Yeah. Utubian, because Lashley powered out of Chris Masters back in the day, I thought Drew was going to reverse the Hurt Lock, so they worked me big time. I thought the same exact thing.
Me too, and I'm glad they didn't. Because right now the Hurt Lock is unbeatable. And if Roman is still champion by Survivor Series, and if they do the right thing and make Bob Lashley the champion still at Survivor Series, dude, Bob Lashley would not have Cryface sitting in that ring with Roman Reigns. That would be a sick sit down. I'd love that.
King Enoch, hi, I stayed up all night to watch you, and now I'm off to reserve service.
Well, well wishes on your way.
Yeah.
I'm just
trying Sagan.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just trying to do something. Says, I'm really glad they saved the hair whip spot to make it more impactful when it happens. That is 100% true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. F. Sagan reminds us that Seth had new music.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to that more carefully.
It had the DNA of his metal theme plus a little bit of the Monday Night Messiah.
Okay.
Going on there.
Damon Cruz, what did you guys make of Mox calling out Nick Gage?
Awesome.
I feel for Renee Paquette.
Yes.
Suplex Casey, seeing Bobby and Bianca win made this Mania even more special for me personally. I thought it's a great moment for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons.
Zoe Conrana, what if Omos starts wearing the same gear as AJ?
No, I don't know, man. The fact that we talked about it a little bit. I don't. You're right. You might be right. I'm not sure there's a better alternative. I'm not sure if just tights with Omos on it would work.
No, it wouldn't be. Like he has gear that matches AJ. He's just, I don't know. You
know what I like about it? Okay, this is when I think about it. This is what I like about it. Because you're right. It's basically, this is who he is. He's his muscle. He's his bodyguard. Why would he? He's not. They've never really established that he's a wrestler. So it's like, okay, another day at the office. This time I'm just going to take off my giant coat.
Let's take off my jacket. Yeah.
I see the point.
Young King Parker, now that Drew lost, send him to Smackdown and have him chase the Universal Championship.
No, dude, I want Drew versus Bobby for months and months and months, all the way to SummerSlam.
Delaney Demand, this has been my wild prediction for weeks now, but I see Drew and Sheamus both losing their matches this weekend and teaming up after Mania.
But can they coexist? Hip-hop.
Can they coexist?
Is it weird that green shirt guy, someone I normally rolled my eyes at, being in the front row made me happy, felt a little normal? I've missed that. No, man, look, man, this is something that we've all gone through a year together with. And it is nice to see. It's weird and cool and a little bit nerve-wracking to see, we've all been a bit traumatized by the idea of people doing what they are used to doing, and that's social interaction. It's like, oh, now it's going to get you killed.
Jorge D with some bits says, can you do Triple H explain to Bad Bunny how to do a Triple H type Mania entrance?
All right, here's the deal. I know you come from a different world of music than I do, but metal. Wrestling is metal. I'm just saying. He's like, okay. Well.
All right, sure.
Sure. You like NXT? Yeah.
Night by night, Space Enforcer takes you up on your offer of food. He tells you to follow him, and he takes you through the door. On the other side of the door is a small cave leading to a portal. He prompts you to go through. You do as you're told, and you instantly transport to a Crenshaw-based donut shop. You purchase a dozen assorted donuts and sit down with Space Enforcer as he eats. Almost instantly, his mood changes, and now he seems open to talking. What is your first question?
Can I go home?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Broken Wheelchair with the sub. So other than to show Braun's strength and the one toss, do they really need the cage tonight? Well, from a strategic standpoint, from Braun's vantage point, in theory, a cage will not be able to keep out Elias and Riker out of the ring entirely, helps keep them out.
I like the cage for everything, all the silly stuff that it gave us tonight, much better than if they would have done something else. Let's see here. FFS Amp says, is it time to consider Bianca's hair as the smartest move in WWE? It's like she has a legal kendo stick on her head. That's a good point. Damon Cruz, what match from last year's WrestleMania did you wish was on this card? He says his would have been Otis versus Dolph. Yeah, dude, I thought Otis versus Dolph, I thought that was a really cool story. I really enjoyed that story. It was such entertainment.
Oh, Taker, AJ. I'd like to see what AJ could do with Undertaker in a real match.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Scooter asked, did we try the free DraftKings pool? Says there's a possibility I may have won some money. Congratulations, Scooter.
M. Stevens, did you see Alex McCarthy's tweet that showed Sasha being happy and trying to hide it after the match? It might be the same video that I'm watching right now.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I was going to watch when we were done.
Man, she did her job, and she did it
damn well.
She did it damn well. Exactly. That's going to do it for us today. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us.
Thank you so
we
much.
Still have another night of this, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Until then, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.